Online participants, ladies and gentlemen, very good morning to you all. It is my absolute pleasure to welcome you all to this special session organized by HBNI as part of Fit India Week, a celebration of health, fitness, and overall well-being. Fit India movement is a government of India's initiative for the awareness of fitness in various sectors of India's population. It is more than just a campaign, it is a movement that inspires us to make fitness a way of life. In today's fast-paced world, taking care of our physical and mental health has become more important than ever. This year, 6th edition of Fit India Week is scheduled to be celebrated from 15 November 2024 to 31st December 2024. UGC also urges all higher education institutes to celebrate Fit India Week and conduct fitness activities to promote fitness among its various stakeholders. We are honored to have Professor B.K. Sapra, an outstanding scientist, head RPIT BRC, and national level sportswoman with us today. She will share valuable insight and tips to help us understand how we can incorporate fitness into our daily routine and maintain a balanced and healthy lifestyle. I would request Professor A.K. Tyagi, Dean HBNI, to welcome our eminent speaker, Professor B.K. Sapra, with a bouquet of flowers.
So fast.
I took the pledge, right? So before proceeding further, we will first start with the Fit India pledge. So we have some more pledges maybe that we can give. We can both can share one pledge.
Yes.
And is there
I will follow what you say.
and copy of
I got here.
okay. So you do Hindi, I will do English.
Yes.
So we'll start with the Hindi, na? The Hindi state.
मैं प्रतिज्ञा करती हूँ
मैं प्रतिज्ञा करता हूँ
एक सत्य और स्वस्थ जीवन शैली जीऊंगी
एक सत्य व स्वस्थ जीवन शैली जीऊंगा
जूंगी
अपने फिटनेस और स्वास्थ्य के लिए
अपने
फिटनेस और स्वास्थ्य के लिए
30 मिनट तक समय सर दिस इज नॉट करेक्ट दिस इज प्रिंटेड
30 मिनट तक समय निकालूंगा
समय
आगे ये
क्या अपने फिटनेस के लिए प्रतिदिन 30 मिनट का समय निकालूंगी
अपने
फिटनेस के लिए 30 मिनट का समय निकालूंगा
सर आप मिश्रा सर आप ही पढ़ दीजिए if you can make sense out of it.
अपने परिवार के सदस्यों
और
अपने पड़ोसियों को
स्वस्थ रहने के लिए
प्रोत्साहित करूंगा इंडिया मोबाइल एप्लीकेशन के द्वारा
फिट इंडिया मोबाइल एप्लीकेशन के द्वारा
अपने फिटनेस स्तर को त्रिमाही स्तर पर जांचूंगा
Now in English, to lead an active and a healthy lifestyle, to take out 30 minutes every day for my fitness and health, to encourage my family members and neighbors to stay fit and healthy,
to stay fit and healthy,
to take the fitness assessment
to take the fitness assessment
test
test
on the Fit India mobile application
on the Fit India mobile application
quarterly.
quarterly.
Now I will invite Professor A.K. Tyagi, Dean HBNI, to give the opening remarks.
Thanks, Dr. Datta, Dr. B.K. Sapra, outstanding scientist, BARC, and head RPAD, and my close friend for last more than 30 years, Registrar HPNI, all associate deans, our colleagues from HPNI Central Office. I see a lot of participants, young students in particular. Welcome you all to this special occasion, which we are celebrating at the behest of Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, Government of India. This particular time of the year is being celebrated as Fit India Week. And as she already mentioned, it is 6th year consecutively. The genesis of this particular week are more than many, of course, but I will give my own perspective. I give 2 or 3 examples of how important fitness can be in one's long-term success. One example is Professor John B. Goodenough. He got Nobel Prize in 2019 at the age of 97. He was 1922 born, and 1923 he passed away at the age of 101. And you know, Nobel Prize is not given posthumously. You all know, I believe this. Had he not been fit enough, I am sure he would have missed the Nobel Prize. He got Nobel Prize for 2 or 3 compounds which he made in 70s and 80s. And believe me, all of us have those compounds in our pockets. They are compounds which are conducting lithium ions. I have met him a couple of times in my long career, especially in Europe. He used to tell that he goes to office on a bicycle. Till last, he used to go on a bicycle. You can imagine the importance of fitness in long-term success. One more example for other walks of life, that is sports. I think 10 days ago, we all were witnessing an event which was organized in Mumbai in honor of great cricket coach Acharya Ramakant Achrekar. Many of you must have seen that event in memory of Achrekar sir. 2 young boys started to play for India in 1989. I believe it was test against Pakistan. One boy was Vinod Kambli, and other boy was Sachin Tendulkar, contemporary. And these 2 boys made history while playing for Sharda Ashram. That was much before that. So their career took off. Vinod Kambli made a tremendous progress in first 2 or 3 years itself. Sachin was a slow and steady. He was heading for a long-term career, a great career. Within 3 or 4 years, things changed completely. And when you all saw 10 days back this particular event, you can see on YouTube today also, 2 sports person of same age group from same school, Sharda school. How much difference has happened? Vinod Kambli was hardly able to speak. We all felt very sorry because we saw such a great batsman with great future. Whatever happened, will not elaborate much, but somehow his health went down and down. And he could not cope up with the grind and with the pressure of international cricket. So this is another example of how important fitness can play a role in your career, in your personal life. So we urge all of you, at your age, not 30 minutes. 30 minutes pledge was for us who have just crossed 60. For you, it should be 2 hours. You should spare 2 hours time. Walk to the office. No need to take buses. I was doing all these things till few years back also. Otherwise, howsoever intelligent you are, I am doubtful that in long term you can sustain the pace which you are having as of now. As of now, you are all able to work very hard. But to maintain this kind of pace, when you cross 40, when you cross 50, when you cross 60, in my circle, I have got scientists who are working at the age of 90 plus also, because they took exceptional care of their fitness, their health. So this is the main genesis of Fitness India Week, organized by Government of India, in which HPNI is making a small but important contribution. With these few words, let me once again welcome all of you to this great event, and I also look forward to welcome you in 2025. Thank you very much.
For your encouraging words and your insights about fitness. Before proceeding further, I extend my sincere thanks to all organizers and participants and our esteemed speaker for sparing their valuable time for this Fit India Week event, which shows their commitment towards fitness as essential part of life. Now I give a short introduction for our speaker, Professor B.K. Sapra. Sir B.K. Sapra, Balbinder Kaur Sapra, is an outstanding scientist and head of radiological physics and advisory division of BRC, Mumbai. She is also senior professor of Homi Bhabha National Institute. She was recently appointed as Secretary, DAE Sports and Cultural Council. Professor Chapra has done her PhD from University of Mumbai at 2024, and she okay, and MSc Physics from University of Mumbai in 1988, and BSc from R.N. Runia University of Mumbai. She joined Bhabha Atomic Research Center in August 1989 as scientific officer and involved in research development activities related to radiological and nuclear application. She has more than 150 research papers and peer-reviewed journals, and also contribution to 4 books. She was chairperson of Women's Cell of BRC, Internal Complaints Committee, and organized and mediated talks by eminent speakers on gender sensitization at workplaces. She was member regulatory committees, departmental promotion committees, academic committees, and safety committees, both national and international. She guided for MA, MTech and PhD. DAE Science, she got the DAE Science and Technical Excellence Award in 2011 and 3 Group Achievement Awards. She has been in governing council for management of the departmental crash facility called Kilbin. She also have more different sports achievements. She has been a team participant in All India Department of Atomic Energy Badminton Meet and received team championship trophy. And she also have individual trophies every year for more than a decade. She has participated in Master National Badminton Tournament for the last 1 decade with podium finishes on several occasions. So with this biodata, let us invite Professor B.K. Sapre to give a presentation titled Fit Hai Toh Hit Hai. Let us welcome with a big applause.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Dipanvita. And I thank HBNI, Dr. Tyagi, for this very different kind of an opportunity that has been given to me. I hope I'm able to do justice because, you know, it's very easy to talk on your technical subject that you have dealt with for the 3 decades. But this kind of a topic, it is the first time for me. So please excuse me if I make a few blunders here and there. So what I will try to do is, I know a lot of information on fitness is nowadays available and we are all very familiar with social media, Instagram posts and FB posts. You keep reading, so many of them keep coming up. So I will not really dwell much into those things, but I'll try to connect it with my personal experiences, what I have felt. and how we can make little changes here and there so that, the motto of being fit is, we are able to go ahead in that. So as we all know that good health and well-being is one of the sustainable development goals that have been put forward by UN. So the idea is that every individual must have good health, and the well-being is most important for a better lifestyle and better quality of life. So going ahead with this, let me first. Okay. So I would like to dedicate this talk to my parents, my mother, late Srimati Gyan Kaur. And I also would like to tell you that my parents belong to a very, very rural family background. And both of them have up to, maybe my daddy was in 10th when he came to Mumbai, but they are basically farmers' families. And my mother, I have seen her working so hard in our village when we used to go there, as well as in our houses. So I fully, I would say that I learned the art of fitness through her. That hard work never really hurts anybody. It is always good for you. This is what we learned at a very young age. And it has sort of become, we have inculcated that all siblings in our attitude. And unfortunately, she died of cancer, which is again a lifestyle disease, in 2019. But she was, even while she used to undergo her chemo, I had seen her taking a chemotherapy, coming back to the house and cooking for my daddy and herself. So I have learned this from her, that the body is so strong. If your mental strength is there, that you can almost do anything. And my father, Shri Kapil Dev Singh, he will be turning 90 next month. And he's as fit as any normal, I would say, a 50-year-old or a 60-year-old. He goes for his morning walks regularly, around 3 kilometers daily at 6 o'clock. After that, he comes home and he has a 45 minutes of routine of doing his, exercises on the leg, the hand movement, mobility, and so on. So when he comes and stays in my house, sometimes for a week or so, I see him doing it so diligently that it sometimes puts us to shame that a 90-year-old is able to do this, and why we are being so lethargic. And again, evening walks. So I think that fitness, what we see, is actually a way of life for us, because we have seen our parents and surrounding people, all our relatives, very much into this as a daily part of life. So coming back to this Fit India movement, as was explained by Tyagiji also and Dipanvita, this was launched by our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi in 2019. And we all know that he is considered as a fitness influencer in India. And this is actually an effort to bring small lifestyle changes so that you can prevent these lifestyle diseases, which are so rampant nowadays. And in this, when you say Fit India movement, the emphasis on the individual's overall fitness, that is the physical, of course, and mental, social, emotional, and intellectual well-being. So all together, one needs to be fit in all these regimes so that you have an overall fitness. And Ministry of Education spearheaded this initiative to implement these fitness campaigns in higher education institutes and universities. And that's how we are gathered here today. And Fit India Week 2024, it's the dates given were 15th November to 31st December, although in the first few years it was for a week, but then this runs on almost to a month now in the last couple of years. And up to 31st December 2024, all educational institutes have been asked to conduct various types of fitness activities in their institutes. So you will see that if you go to the Government of India website, educational programs such as Fit India Week for schools and higher education institutes, a lot of things have been planned by various institutes, and all these, the flyers will be available. You can see them on the website. Okay, so when we think fit, just imagine a few personalities that immediately come to your mind the moment you say fit. So just for the records, let me tell you that the fittest man on the earth is James Prague, who has been crowned in 2024 for securing the CrossFit Games title in Fort Worth in Texas. So this CrossFit Games are something which are, they are conducted in the US. And some people say that this is more of an, a promotion or whatever. But for 2024, he has been crowned as the fittest man on earth. But we know that there are several personalities who will come to our mind. And the first one that I have put up there is power packed 66 Grand Slams. The three of them together. That is Roger Federer. He's my all-time favorite athlete. And I really love him. I think I've stopped watching tennis after he took retirement. So I have no idea of the younger players now. But it was only because of him that I got interested into tennis. And at one time, I thought that I should leave badminton and play tennis just because of him. I used to watch his matches, even if they are late in the night or early in the morning at 4 o'clock. I mean, he is a magician on the lawn tennis court. If you have been watching him, you will see his strokes, his body movement. It's like as if he's dancing on the court. And of course, Rafael Nadal, lot of strength, immensely hardworking. And similarly, now Djokovic, we are seeing that he's continuing this. And of course, Virat Kohli, we all know, fitness mein, he's always considered as the most fittest athlete. And there are various reasons behind his fitness. Both he and his wife are practicing a very healthy lifestyle. And in the ladies, if I can think of only Malaika Arora probably. There could be many more. But she was the one who came first to my mind because at the age of 50, again, due to the social media, you see her fitness routines that you see early morning. She does yoga, she goes to the gyms, and a lot of other things which she has been practicing consistently for several years. The problem with ladies is that the period for which they tend to pursue their fitness activities becomes very limited. Maybe because of their work pressures, home pressures, having children, the changes in the body as you age. And during the menopausal years, we all know that a lot of hormonal changes happen, because of which it becomes very difficult to maintain a very healthy lifestyle as well as keep your body fit. But I think she's one who has been doing that very consistently. There are few who would come and go, you would find them, but then she's one I thought that, so I wanted to specially mention about her. And if you looked at in DAE, our own fit personality all time has been Dr. Anil Kakodkar. We all know him as the former secretary of DAE and chairman of AEC. He has the Padma Shri, Padma Bhushan, Padma Vibhushan. Of course, all his technical achievements, you can always read up on the internet or on Wikipedia also, I believe. And I have watched him very closely for the last several years because I started with the G interview when he was the chairman of the committee for my G promotion interview. That is when I had really started watching him very closely. And of course, in a lot of meetings and gatherings, you would find that he's one person, if he comes at 9:30 into an auditorium, and when at 6:30 he leaves, his face, his hair, his attire, his posture remains as it was in the morning at 9:30. Next time, whenever I think you get an opportunity, you please observe this, and you will really be, it's really remarkable to see that, because also his, the presence of mind, the way he listens to every talk that he's attending, the way he comments on every talk, which shows that he has been present mentally throughout the entire talk. So that can come only with a very internal fitness, not only because physical fitness, but also the intellectual or the mental fitness. So I again consider him as one of the most fit personalities of our DAE fraternity. Now, why do we talk so much about fitness? In the recent years, we all know that these non-communicable diseases, or the lifestyle diseases as we call them, these are really on an increase. And it is with an effort to check these or keep these as minimum as possible that in the recent years, a lot of emphasis has been on fitness. And the main communicable, non-communicable diseases that you would encounter are the cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, cancer, chronic respiratory diseases, and mental health. So these are the things that you would normally find that, including children, the young people, everyone has some or the other complaint with respect to these. And of course, we know the risk factors: tobacco use, harmful use of alcohol, physical inactivity, unhealthy diet, and air pollution. So there are some things which are in our control. For example, tobacco use, harmful use of alcohol, unhealthy diet, which definitely we can, do away with these and try to become fit. There is air pollution, which again is a collective effort which has to be made. not only by the government, but also by the individuals, by each citizen of India, so that you can control this. But the others, that is physical inactivity, unhealthy diet, these can definitely be controlled at our end, at an individual's end. So if you look at the projections for the metabolic disease prevalence in India, you would see that this is again a study, very recent study, which has been published in Lancet in Diabetes and Endocrinology by Anjana et al. In 2023. It gives you the number of people in million that are projected to have diabetes, pre-diabetes, hypertension, generalized obesity, abdominal obesity, and high levels of cholesterol. So you can see that these numbers are really very high, 315 million people projected to be having abdominal obesity. So these are very worrisome figures. Now, from the same study, ICMR study, if you look at the numbers, so if you see diabetes, the prevalence is almost 11.4%. 11.4% of the Indian population has diabetes. Pre-diabetic is 15.3, and obesity, if you see, is 39.5. So the moment you see the people, individuals, they cross 20, 25, you will see that they start getting obese. In fact, even children nowadays, you will see that they are highly obese, and lot needs to be done about this. So state-wise prevalence has also been given in this table. So we'll not dwell much into this, but I would only like to say that yes, we need to be concerned about these lifestyle diseases. Now, how can we prevent these lifestyle diseases? So all of us know, and we hear it, a lot of gyan available on the internet, eat healthy. Now, eating healthy is something that, one needs to figure out for yourself. What is healthy for you? We all know what a balanced diet is. We study it right from the second standard, third standard. You should have all the nutrients that you get from your diet, the 5 major components, carbohydrates, proteins, and so on. So I will not dwell into those. But what is most essential for you, your body has to figure out on your own, and you need to be conscious of what your body is asking you to do and how to eat it. Now, regular physical activity is again something that is very important, which is really going down these days. And we all keep blaming the mobiles and the internet world for this. But I think somewhere in our daily routines, if we introduce, if we have these kind of, what should I say, habits, that at least when you're eating your lunch and dinner, everybody sits together at the table, putting your mobiles away. So you have in half an hour of interacting with your family, which is very good for your emotional stability and bonding with the family members. So these kind of small changes, if we make in our daily routines, I'm sure your addiction to these devices, electronic devices, can be controlled very much. And we all know, one, quit smoking, alcohol, definitely it's in your control, which you can do. Get adequate sleep. Put away all your electronic devices at a given time. Decide the time that you want to, whether it is 10:30 or 11. If you're an early riser, then it's good that you sleep by around 10:30, because around 7 to 7.5 hours of sleep is very, very essential for rejuvenating your body and the cells. And of course, one must go for regular health checkups. Every year, at least once. Nowadays, the health checkups by Tata 1mg and all, these are not very expensive. You can get almost around 35 to 40 tests in that package of around 1,000 rupees. So at least once in the year, do go for these regular checkups. It will tell you the situation of the condition of your body, whether you are diabetic, whether you need to control your sugar, you need to control your weight, how is your hemoglobin level, how is your vitamins. We generally, Indians, we are generally low on vitamin D and the other vitamins, calcium levels. So it's very important to check this and keep taking your supplements so that your regular, your routine body maintenance is taken care of. And also it is important to know your family history. So if your family, there have been diabetics, it is quite possible that your younger generations will also be diabetic. So keep a watch, have a very strict diet control so that these diseases can be avoided. Similarly with cancer. So if there are instances of cancer in your family, one needs to be very particular that you go for regular checkups, especially for ladies after 40. Maybe it's always good once in 2 years, do a mammogram done, do a pap smear done, so that you are able to catch it very quickly. We know that cancer, if caught quickly, it has good prognosis, and we must always be watchful on that. So watch your diet. As I said, balanced diet, we all know it comprises of all nutritional value foods. So I'll not dwell into that. But nowadays, in the recent years, there are several special diet plans which have come up. You know, you will hear the Dikshit's diet, the keto diet, the paleo diet, vegetarian, vegan diet, Mediterranean, low carb, no sugar. There are several things that have come up. But I would say that if you are going to opt for these diets, please understand very well that why you are choosing a certain kind of diet. What is it that you want? Are you looking for weight loss? Do you want to control your sugar? So accordingly, you pick up the diet. And these are highly person specific, depending on what are the target outcomes that you want. So it is generally good not to go on these special diets, especially the keto diets and so on, without a good consultation with a nutritionist. But yes, in general, low carb diet, no sugars, we already know that these are very, very beneficial. But we know that we Indians, we really love to eat. We are all great foodies. And if you see India's typical diet, it is highly rich in carbohydrates and fat. And this increases your appetite and leads to overeating. So we all are aware, you would have seen so many videos on Instagram where they show you that the moment, what happens to me when I eat sweets, what happens when I have eaten 1 cup of noodles. So your insulin level spikes up and then comes down. The moment it comes down, you again start feeling hungry. So the more carbohydrates, the more sugars that you have, the more tendency that within a few hours, you will again feel like eating something. Your body will crave for that. So these kind of lot of videos you would have seen with good pictures and graphs which show you what happens. So this happens because we people, especially the Indians, we eat foods which are very highly dense on calories. So it's good to avoid carbohydrates, keep them to a minimum. And especially I would say for the lifestyle for all of us, like people who are working in the offices, we don't get to do too much of physical activity while you are at work. So in that case, it's good to keep a low carb diet so that you do not, also with low carbs, if you would have noticed, अच्छे से पूरी खा लो, दबा के आलू पूरी खा लो, 2 घंटे में पक्का है कि आपको नींद आने लग जाएगी. So if you have to stay alert in your office and if you have to, be very dedicated to what you're doing, not feel lethargic, it's good to control your carbs because that will keep your energy levels controlled. I wouldn't say low, but it would keep it controlled. Now, many people feel कि अरे रोटी नहीं खाई तो फिर क्या खाया? रोटी के लिए तो कमाते हैं. But then there are other good things which you can eat. You have lots of dals. We are so rich in vegetables. All kinds of vegetables are available. Try to fill your stomach with these different kinds of vegetables, sprouts, and so on, rather than filling it up with carbs. Now, earlier, we used to hear this phrase, 2 square meals a day. So this is a very important thing which I came across while I was surfing through, that until the 14th century, it was unusual to consume an early morning meal in India, जिसको आजकल हम breakfast बोलते हैं. It was unusual till the 14th century. And the meals would generally be midday meal and then a very early meal in the evening. And I have myself seen this as children when we used to go to Punjab, which is my hometown. My mama ji, as I told you, they were all farmers. So they would get up at 4:30 in the morning, go to the fields, irrigation ke liye tube well chalaya, wo channels, water irrigation pura kiya, come back, look at the cattle, unka milking the cattle, giving them feed. वो सब होने के बाद around 10:30 वापस घर आते थे. At that time, they used to have their full meal, rest for some time, and then again go back to the fields. So first meal would be around 10 or 10:30 in the morning. And then evening again, of course, 1 or 2 teas in between. Evening again by 5:30 or 6 when they come back from the fields, that is the time that they would eat garam garam. Is season mein makke di roti, sarson da saag with lots of butter. And wo khake by 7:30 everybody would be on bed. So it was just 2 meals in a day, although all the time they were in the sun, they were in the farms, but still 2 meals in a day were sufficient. So in the 19th century, when the East India Company came here, then that introduction of tea, coffee, the snacks during the evening time, breakfast as a formal meal, very large spread of breakfast, all this got introduced only in the 19th century and especially among the elite class. So even in the villages, maybe they were continued to do that 2 square meals, but I think in the towns, by then it started that you need to have a heavy breakfast, then you need to have a good lunch, and then again evening some snacks along with tea, and then dinner. So when we say 2 June ki roti, 2 June ki roti is 2 times, 2 waqt ki roti. Earlier it used to be that 2 वक्त की रोटी बहुत खुश नसीब लोगों को नसीब होती है. That is, it's very difficult for people to even get 2 meals in a day, especially, the backward classes or the people who are not so well off. But I would say that आजकल 2 जून की रोटी जो लेगा वही नसीब वाला होगा. I would like to put it that way, that this 2 meals a day is again now becoming popular. And I myself have been practicing this for the last 7 or 8 years. So I do not take breakfast. Again, this is my personal view. I wouldn't advocate it for you. It is for each one of you to decide what your body wants and how you are okay with it. So a good lunch without carbs, no roti, no chawal, but lots of veggies, lots of curd. Because your carbohydrates, what we say कि रोटी और चावल से जो हमको चाहिए, वो जब हम लोग, when we are sitting at a desk or not moving much, we get enough of carbohydrates through some of the vegetables, through the dals that we eat. So really there is no need to put in extra carbs into our body. That is my feeling, and it has worked very well for me. When I started this meal, again, it was a friend of mine who plays badminton who sort of introduced us to this kind of a meal. So people used to say, अरे खेलने जाना है, चक्कर आके गिर जाओगी, कैसे बिना रोटी के कैसे तुम खेल सकती हो? But then I found that it really didn't matter. It did not affect my performance in any way, and I have been very happy. I think जब से मैंने ये 2 meals in a day without the carbs, without the roti or chawal shuru kiya hai, I think all my headaches have almost disappeared. The gastric issues which one generally has, the bloating issues, they have all gone. You can eat as much rajma, chana as you want, and you will not feel bloated if you do not add carbs to your meal. So this has worked very well for me, but as I said, to each one their own. And there are several weight loss diets. Nowadays, it's, as I said, obesity is on the increase and people do want to lose fat or lose weight. But then we must remember that for weight loss, your diet has to be consistently caloric deficit. Now, what does this mean? That is, whatever I am eating at this point with my this body weight or fat in my body, unless I eat or unless I put lesser calories than what I am eating presently, weight loss or fat loss is not going to happen. So if you continue eating the same amount that you're eating now, your body will maintain the same weight or same fat. And if you eat more than that, obviously your fat content is going to increase in the body, which is a caloric surplus. That is not what you want. But if you eat less than what right now you're eating, you will go into a caloric deficit. That is a deficit of calories. And that is when your stored fat will start burning. And because anyway, you are doing all your metabolic activities in the day, you are moving around, you are doing all your chores. So the stored fat will slowly start converting to energy and you will be able to lose that fat. So this is what happens with these 2 meals in a day. If you eat what you have eaten now, that gives you energy for doing out the work. But the moment you put in the next meal, there has been no time for your body to release the stored fat and convert it to energy. So that stored fat remains as it is because आपने ऊपर से अलग से खाना देके energy body के लिए पैदा कर ली है. So as that cartoon says, every time I lose weight, it finds me again because we are not going into a caloric deficit, which is the reason that we do not lose weight. So most of the times I have seen many of our aunts, especially, who like to feed us. नहीं नहीं एक खा लो, थोड़ा सा खा लो, अरे बहुत अच्छा बना है, एकदम बढ़िया पराठा बनाया है, पनीर का पराठा है, थोड़ा तो खाओ. So these kind of aunties, they always say कि इतना करती हूँ, बिल्कुल नहीं खाती हूँ, लेकिन फिर भी मेरा वेट कम नहीं होता है. But I have myself seen in our families also and in my near neighborhoods that अब आपने बोला नहीं नहीं मैं आधा ही लूंगी, तो वो आधा ठीक है, अब मैं खा लेती हूँ. किसी और बच्चे ने बोला एक पिन्नी खा लो, बहुत टेस्टी बनी है, अच्छा आधी मैं लूंगी, तो वो आधी वो आंटी ने खा ली. But then they feel कि मैंने खाया ही क्या है, because plate में आपने proper meal नहीं खाया, but over the day you have been snacking on these tits and bits. चाय तो बिना किसी स्नैक्स के हम खाए पी ले ही नहीं सकते हैं, एसिडिटी करेगी. सो चाय के साथ थोड़ा नमकीन भी होना चाहिए, थोड़ा बिस्किट भी होना चाहिए. So you keep on putting food into your body, which is what does not allow you to shed the weight. Of course, there could be other reasons for not losing weight, such as stress. There could be an hormonal imbalance because of which, however hard you try, you may not lose weight. And there could be water retention due to various reasons, such as a lot of salt in your food. So you need to cut down on the salt if you have to clear this water from your body. And in such cases, if you are following your diet very strictly, but still you are not able to reduce weight, then I would say that it is good to consult a doctor. Okay. Now, as I was saying, add more proteins and reduce carbs. Now, as we age, adequate protein we know is required for preserving our muscle mass and strength. And unless you have good muscle mass, as you age, it's going to be very difficult for you to move around, to have enough strength to do your daily activities. This we do not realize when we are young because you have good muscle mass, but slowly with age, the muscle gets lean and thin. So that is when you need to take more care, especially after 35, I would say that cut down on your carbs and increase your protein content. And that's why you will see that in the recent years, a higher protein diet is advocated to improve metabolism, and it also helps you to reduce your weight. And of course, cutting down on sugars. There can always be cheat days, even with carbohydrates, even with sugars. You decide, okay, 15 दिन में सिर्फ एक बार मैं कुछ मीठा ले लूंगी, या I will have parathas maybe once in 10 days. But then stick to that. Do not say कि अच्छा आज ले लेती हूँ कल करूंगी, 2 दिन बाद नहीं, कल 2 दिन ही हुए हैं, अब फिर आज ले लेती हूँ, then I'll control for the next 1 month. Do not do that. So a strict discipline, unless you have a strict discipline with yourself, it is very difficult to maintain this kind of a diet styles. And again, as I said, most important is portion control. I feel that we Indians tend to eat much more than what is required by our body. And that is the result that you see a lot of obesity. And बच्चों में भी we try to feed them thinking के ज़्यादा खाएंगे तो ज़्यादा active रहेंगे, ज़्यादा energy रहेगी, but that is not really true. The child will ask for more if he or she is feeling hungry. So ठूस के खिलाना, I think we should all stop doing that. You people are young, आगे बच्चे होंगे, तो please remember these things. Okay. Now that was about the diet. Diet is one way by which you can maintain your fitness. Now, the other thing is the physical fitness. Now, physical fitness is not only having a very balanced diet, but also doing a little bit of workout so that your food that you're eating is efficiently being converted to the muscle mass and it is giving you a lot of strength in your body. And iske liye physical fitness, I can definitely tell you that intrinsic motivation is most vital. If you are not internally motivated, it is very difficult to have any sort of fitness routine. And it is always good to start young. सबको लगता है कि अभी तो young है, मैं तो दुबले पतला हूँ, मुझे तो जरूरत नहीं है exercises की. But this is not the case. The moment you start young, you develop it as a part of your routine. Just like हम उठते हैं, ब्रश करते हैं, नहाते हैं, ब्रेकफास्ट करते हैं, सिमिलरली वो फिटनेस आपके अंदर एक बचपन से, या आई वुड से व्हेन यू आर मेंटली यू नो व्हाट इज रिक्वायर्ड एंड व्हाट इज गुड फॉर योर बॉडी, तब से उसको अपने रूटीन में इनकलकेट करना इज अ वेरी गुड थिंग. एंड आई वुडंट से दैट ठीक है हु कैन अफोर्ड गोइंग टू द जिम, और आप इतने मोटिवेटेड है कि आप जिम में जाना चाहते हैं, तो दैट्स वेरी गुड. बट इट्स ऑलवेज गुड टू थिंक आउटसाइड द जिम ऑल्सो. आई हैव हर्ड मेनी पीपल से कि वो जिम में जब आप ट्रेडमिल पे भागते हो, you just look at the wall, it's very boring. I agree, it is very boring. So unless you are very motivated or you have a very specific aim, you want to run the marathons and you want to stay fit, then आपका motivation is much more than the boredom जो आपको सामने की wall या mirror देख के आ रहा है. You will continue. I have seen some people 40 minutes on the gym at a very slow pace, but building up your endurance. So for that, maybe it's good. So think outside the gym also. There are several options available nowadays. You have the yoga. I don't know how many of you have heard of this Saurabh Bothra ka yoga. Yes. How many of you have attended that at some point or the other? Yes, many of you. But please go and look at it by Saurabh Bothra, a very young IIT graduate. And he decided to go the yoga way. And if you look at the views and the number of people who join him online, it's really humongous. And very simple yoga poses that he does early in the mornings. There are 3 or 4 schedules which you can join as per your convenience. So yoga will give you a good mobility. It will keep your body agile throughout the day. Again, you have dance. Some people are very interested in dance. Go and join dance workshops, because after all, you just need to burn out the calories. You just need to have a flexible body and some movement in your body so that all your joints remain intact. Your body is used to all the twists and turns. And you could also go for outdoor activities, nature walk, nature trails, and so on. And as I said, most important, set your fitness goal. If you think that, okay, I want to have at least 10,000 steps or 8,000 steps in a day, try to keep on that. Because once you have a fitness goal, you will eat accordingly. You will have your daily routines according to that goal. And then it is easier to achieve that goal. And again, so every day doing the same activity can get boring. So have a mix of activities if you want to keep the routine sustainable. Maybe once in a week, go out for a walk. Once in a week, you do your yoga, or rather, I would say twice or thrice in a week, you do yoga, but then mix it up with some kind of sports activity or maybe general walks in outdoor walks also. Now, what are the benefits of exercise? All of us know this, right? In the school days, we would have learned. It increases your energy. You have improved cardiovascular health, because when you are exercising or working out, your pulse levels go high, your blood pressure increases slightly, and that can give a good push. Your arteries get cleared of any small clots that are just beginning to form, they get cleared of that. So you have an improved cardiovascular health. And of course, you have increased muscle strength and endurance. So if you see that if you stop doing a little bit of exercise for 10 or 15 days, it becomes very difficult to go and play. Your feet start hurting, your calves will give you pain. You have a lot of lactic acid which gets accumulated into your muscles. So it's good to keep nominal physical activity throughout the week. And of course, for weight management, it is essential. And reduced stress and anxiety. आप एक ही जगह बैठ के किसी चीज को बार बार सोचते रहेंगे, तो your mind gets anxious and suddenly you become very, depressed. But you go out for a walk, you meet people, you talk to people on the way, you forget your stress for some time while you're playing something or doing an activity. It again refreshes your mind, and then you think, why was I worrying so much about this anxiety which I'm having? And of course, improved sleep. Sleep is something that is so important for your body if it has to refresh itself. However tired you may be after a good game, after a good physical activity, but when you have a good warm bath and you sleep in the morning, you are as fresh as ever and your muscle has grown. All that muscle breakage, the tiny muscles which broke while you were doing your physical activities, after a good sleep, they tend to grow stronger. So that is how you build the muscle with physical activity. Now, muscle strength, as I said, very important to have muscle strength. Now, why? We all know it gives you good bone health. The osteoporosis that is caused because your muscles are not strong enough to take the weight of your body. So that is where your bones start feeling the pressure. They start becoming arthritic. You will get osteoporosis. And once your muscles are strong, they can hold your skeleton very well. So you have injury prevention. Of course, it's very good for weight management because all your fat is getting converted to muscle. And it will help you to have good moods, energy, sleep, and your posture. Posture is something very important. The moment you do not have a good posture, you slouch, then your back pain will start, your knees will start hurting you. So it's very important to maintain a very good erect posture so that you can avoid back pain, joint health, and you have an improved quality of life. And of course, if you are into athletics, then it's very important that you have good muscle strength. Now, how can you build up muscle? The simplest way is, lifting weights. Not all of us go to the gyms, but it's always a good idea to keep a minimal 2 kg, 3 kg weights at home whenever you get the opportunity. Do in between your exercises or in between your works that you're doing at home, just take the weights, 15 ye mare, 15 ye kiye, 15. Just repetitions of, even with a 2 kg weight, or sometimes even without the weights, if you do those repetitions, we used to learn in the classes. Apne PT teacher jo karaya karte, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, 7, 6, 5. Even those, if you do it 15 times for one particular exercises, I can tell you that you will definitely start seeing the difference in your energy level, as well as in your muscle strength and your overall posture. And resistance bands is something, by which if you do not have weights, a lot of different resistance bands are available. Keep stretching your arms and this, especially for your shoulder joints. It is very useful so that you have a full mobility of your hands and legs. You can use resistant bands. If you are, if you have the opportunity and the place, you can do gardening. Climbing stairs. This is something that I would advocate for everybody. Please do not take the lifts unless you are at the 18th or 19th floor. 5, 6 floors that I'm sure all of us can somehow walk up the stairs and down the stairs. And dheere dheere, you will see that even going 10 floors up is not so difficult. And hill walking, cycling, dance, push-ups, sit-ups, squats, all these are very important for building up your muscles. And I would say that this is again more important for women as we age. Because as I said, because of the hormonal imbalances that happen during your premenopausal or menopausal times, the muscle becomes very weak, you tend to gain weight. And at that time, when you start doing these kind of muscle strengthening, your body does not have the capacity to take it. And that is where I said that starting very young, so that your body is already into that mode of where it knows that it has to exercise, you will be able to bear with all these issues very easily. Another thing is make fitness fun. As I said, it can be very boring if you just go on lifting weights every day and go on either running on the treadmill. Nowadays, a lot of fitness apps and wearable devices are available. And the moment you see, your smart watches, I'm sure many of us are using these nowadays. You go and have a good run or a good exercise or a good game, and suddenly it blasts off saying, well done. And you get a good circle of lights blinking on your watch. So you feel good. Oh, okay, today I have done my good bit. So these kind of devices are good to keep you motivated. And as we know, by looking at the numbers, okay, I have completed 2.3 kilometers of walk today, just a little more and I will reach a 3-kilometer goal. So it's important to do that if you have to get good results. Looking at the numbers, what makes you happy and motivated. One can adopt community fitness initiatives like walkathons, marathons, yoga, cycling groups. So you will see in our colony also a lot of walkathons and marathons are being organized and people join in large numbers. And once you do 2 or 3 walkathons or marathons, you get so interested that you make it a daily routine that I must walk at least 5 kilometers in a day. And nowadays, Zumba dance sessions are so common. That is, you enjoy dancing as well as it's an overall entire body fitness, I would say, happens when you do these kind of dance sessions. And again, cross training to prevent boredom and injury. So cross training is do different things. Don't repeat the same things. Do different things at different times and different days. And of course, taking part in sports competitions and workshops. Whenever you compete, you always want to do better than the previous time. So you put in more effort to practice, to do these kind of fitness exercises. But as I said, again, there can always be constraints to maintain the consistency or sustainability. Slowly, you may have a lack of motivation. Now, that lack of motivation comes because sometimes we do not set very realistic goals. आप जिस दिन start करोगे, उसी दिन से बोलोगे मैं रोज 10 किलोमीटर चलने वाली हूँ. But we know it's not so easy to do a 10-kilometer walk daily. So start slowly. Tell yourself कि okay, first 1 month मेरे 2 किलोमीटर भी होते हैं तो I am happy with it. Slowly your body adopts to it. Then second month may you can go for 3 kilometers and so on. And find a fitness companion. It's always good if you have 2-3 people in a group. I have seen in the colony, there are groups who every day they are so motivated because they know that they're going to have company over which they'll be discussing politics, they'll be discussing the office work and so on. So very regularly, 7 o'clock niche aake, they go for walks together. So it's nice to have a fitness companion. Better this than not doing anything. And as I said, reward yourself for consistency. If you find you have been able to achieve your goals for a full month, for a full year, reward yourself. You can do whatever. Have a nice vacation where you do not, for a week, do not think of your exercises and so on. Just enjoy. Now, all of us, I've seen many people saying, "Arey, time ही नहीं मिलता है. सुबह पहले घर का करो, फिर especially with ladies I've seen. घर का करो, सुबह सुबह उठ के बच्चों को स्कूल भेजना है, lunch बनाना है, then I have to come to office, evening again, it's the same routine." So these time constraints are there, I do agree. But then there is always a solution out, a way out. Go for short walks. So when you're coming back from the office, from the gate, I wouldn't say that from your office in Mod Labs till the North Gate you walk, because that is not really correct. You are sort of not utilizing the time which you should have been at your office desk correctly. Once you are out from, instead of getting a car and parking it at North Gate, please walk from there to your house. Especially in the evenings, we can afford to do that. So short workouts, subah uthte hi, just a little bit of jumping jacks, jogging in your house as you get out of the bed, just doing a little bit of stretching exercises as you come out of the bed and walk around in your house making tea. Even this kind of small things you can incorporate into your daily routines. Go for a night walk, have an early dinner, go for a night walk, avoid lifts, as I said. And while you are at workplaces, stand up briefly at regular intervals. So sitting consistently, you can see with age, as you would notice, जैसे ही आप उठोगे तो आपको लगेगा कि अरे बहुत दर्द हो रहा है. You have to take 2-3 steps and then you come back to your normal walk. It happens with me also because I have a bad knee, which I have got by playing, but still. So उठने से पहले 2-3 बार पैर को हिलाओ, then you get up and walk around a little bit and then come back to your desk. And we also can have financial constraints because not everybody can afford to go to very expensive gyms. So it's good to just go for outdoor workouts. There are several open garden gyms which are available nowadays. If you have one close to your residential place, please go out to this open garden gyms. I have seen near my house where I stay, there is an open garden gym, and I have seen very elderly ladies, साड़ी में वो नववारी साड़ी पहन के उसके ऊपर मस्त अपना कर रही होती हैं. It's very motivating to see them doing this. So that was about diet and physical fitness. Now, when you talk about overall fitness, the emotional well-being is equally important. Only then you are really fully fit if you are also emotionally fit. So what do we mean by emotional well-being? Emotional well-being is the ability to successfully handle stress, adapt to change and the difficult times, and continue with our activities, whether in office or at home, without disturbing the atmosphere of home or your office workspace. Now, this was a very nice pictorial representation which I got from the National Institute of Health website. So for emotional well-being, there are 6 key points. Build resilience. Build resilience meaning in our life, all of us will get setbacks at some point or the other. Not everything may happen as per your will. So sometimes some bad things happen in our lives, but the best part is that you must be willing to come out of that phase and go back to your normal state of life. And in this case, sometimes if you need help, please do that. Do not shy away from taking help when you are disturbed emotionally. Talk to your friends, talk to your office colleagues, talk to a consultant, talk to a doctor. So normally in India, we are so shy, or we are so, I would say that we do not want to go and see a psychologist or a social worker. But I would say those times are gone now. If something is disturbing you emotionally, please go and talk to somebody. They will at least try to help you how to get out of that situation. Second is reduce stress. So reduce stress is, we know that yoga is one of the best ways to reduce stress. Whatever means you think works for you, please do that. Go and play, talk to children, play some games, or simple lying down for some time with your mind completely blank can help you to reduce stress. Be mindful. Be mindful meaning do not work in an autopilot mode. Bhage ja rahe hain, like that Golden Gate of Saif Ali Khan ka movie, if you recall, Love Aajkal. Yeah, I think it was Love Aajkal, where, early morning you get up, have a bath, go into the train, walk to your office, come back. No, be mindful कि आपके आसपास क्या हो रहा है, उसको ध्यान में रखो. आप रोड पे चल रहे हो, ध्यान रखो कि सामने से क्या आ रहा है, इधर मैंने आज क्या देखा था, अरे ये नई बिल्डिंग आ गई है और यहाँ पे कुछ नया सेंटर खुला है. So be mindful of what is happening around you. That will help your mind to stay alert all the time. And if you are mindful and your mind is alert, all these Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, these can really be slowed down. As you age, these diseases can be slowed down if you are mindful at all times. And as I said, get good quality sleep. This is most important. Cope with loss. All of us know that as during our life, there could be several losses. We would lose a very dear person of ours. It's good to mourn over their departure, but then slowly we need to get back to life, get back to your daily surroundings, because you have kids you have to look after. You have your office from where you're getting your daily bread. We need to do justice to that. So slowly, with the help of your friends, talk about that departure, talk what you're feeling when you lose someone with your close ones. And slowly you will find that you will start cherishing the good things that happened with that person while you interacted with that person. And that loss, of course, that loss always it is there in our hearts. But we can slowly learn to live with that loss if we keep good memories of the person who has departed from us. And strengthen social connections. Do not be a loner in today's world. Do not be a loner. We need to build friendship. We need to have social activities outside our homes, talk to people, meet people, do common things together. This will help you to remain happy, and uh, overall emotional well-being is much better once you strengthen your social connections. Coming back to my story, just another 2-3 slides and I'll be finishing off. So as I told you that my parents, they belong to a very rural family, and I was one of the 4 siblings, 3 sisters, 1 brother. I was the second daughter, and very average middle class family. My father was the only bread earner in the family. But as I told you, we used to do all the physical households which are there to be done along with my mother right from a very early age. I think by the time we were 5 or 6, 6 or 8 years, I was able to make a dal, make some rotis. But आजकल के बच्चों को बोलो तो वो बोलेंगे अरे आपकी सिचुएशन अलग थी, हम लोगों को ये सब करने की जरूरत नहीं है, we can order it on Swiggy. Okay, it's good you can order it on Swiggy, but then do some other kind of physical fitness which will keep your body active. I would say that. So it's not that everybody needs to go and do jhadu pocha in the house just because our earlier generations were doing it, but still some form of physical activity is required. And of course, we always helped our parents financially by taking small tuitions here and there. I remember that when I was in the 7th standard, I used to get 4 students who were in the 6th standard jinko main tuition dilati thi. When I came to the 12th standard, I had 8 10th standard students, and the idea of the parents was कि ये 90% पे है, इसको आप अभी 98 पे ले आओ. So it's always, you feel good when you are able to help, financially also into your family. It creates a good bonding. Your parents also realize that, okay, the child understands our situation and is willing to help. So that's most important, I think. And I used to do a lot of stitching. Only in the last few years I've stopped. Otherwise, all my dresses for my friends, there would be a big queue, all the young girls saying, nahi, Didi, aapse hi humko silwana hai. So I have done a lot of tailoring along with my studies, along with my MSc, along with my office job for some time. It was only after I got married that I left this. But I used to enjoy seeing the way the dress turns out on someone. So it was my hobby, I would say, which again I utilized for getting some money for our own special needs, going and buying something for ourselves. And well, I was blessed with lean genes, I would say. My MSc classmates, I recall, they always joked and they would tell me, अरे तू तो इतनी पतली है कि तू 2 raindrops के बीच में से पास हो जाएगी. So I was that miserably lean and thin. But I think that has helped me. I could do all these above things because I was lean probably. And of course, my passion is badminton as of now. And let me tell you that it is never too late to start. I started playing badminton only at 39 years. And uske pehle hum log sab ne, aap logon ne bhi, if you are in the training school, you would have seen there is a small hall there. So during the training school days, we used to play there, but that's all. Never played in a proper wooden court with a good shuttle, with a referee overlooking your points. We had never done that. But it was at the age of 39 years when I had my 2 daughters. My younger one was just about 4 years, 2 years or 3 years. There was a DAE badminton meet championship in Mumbai. And my colleagues here, they said, अरे यहीं पे बॉम्बे में तो है. And we were in Nilgiri, I recall. So they said, ये नीलगिरी से निकल के यहाँ NCC तक तो जाना है. खाली जब तुम्हारा टर्न आएगा तुमको बुला लेंगे. So that is how I went for this meet. And believe me, all my friends and other players, they cheered me from the outside so much that I think that year I was the winner of the championship or runner up, I don't recall now, in the singles. And they would shout at me from outside, अरे थोड़ा नेट पे भी तो डालो, अरे अभी पूरा शॉट ही मारोगी क्या, पूरा अपना सरदारनी का जंप दो, जोर ही दिखाना है, थोड़ा इधर दो. तो ऐसे करके उन लोगों ने मुझे जिताया था. And that's when I got into this and I started really, I joined NCC and I started playing badminton. But I played my first Masters Nationals at the age of 45, which was in 2012. So these Masters games are something which are held every year, depending on the age category. So there is a 5-year age category. The Masters start at 35 years. So you would see that Sindhu, Saina, they all play up to 22, 23. After that, you would not find them playing. But then the moment these people turn 35, they enter into the Masters. So 35 to 40 की एक category है, 40 to 45, 45 to 50, 50 to 55. 5 years की category में people start playing. And you won't believe at this Masters National, there are as many as 1,200 players, all the categories combined. And I have seen and I have friends who are now in the category of 70 to 75. And they are playing so good even now. Mobility gets reduced, but आपका हाथ जो एक बार आपने बचपन से खेला हुआ होता है, that works. आप उनको खड़े खड़े आप दे दो ऐसे smashes और वो मारते हैं, that it's incredible to see that at 75 they are able to play so well. So now I play in the category of 55 to 60, and it has been really satisfying for me because right when I started playing from 2012 onwards, till last year also, that top photograph that you see is at 2024, where I was able to get 2 medals. I have been getting either a bronze or a silver. Ab tak gold kabhi nahi mila hai, because all the players who come there are the ones who are either coaches, they are having their own coaching academies. Many big names we have met and they are friends of mine, or they have played in their junior years. They were champions in the junior years. Now after 35, they have joined this Masters. So sometimes it's a little difficult to compete with them because I never had a formal professional coaching on badminton. But we have learned whatever through the years by our own practice and hard work. And I was selected for the international tournaments twice, but unfortunately one was during COVID time, I could not go. And one was earlier to that when I was not so familiar with the circuit. I didn't know the other players. So I was little scared of going, ke pata nahi koi friends wahan milenge, kaise karogi. So I did not opt at that time. And so my passion for badminton is my motivation to stay fit. So as I said, unless we have a good goal or a motivation, it becomes very difficult to keep fit. Especially when the tournaments are coming, you see to it that you keep on doing your daily exercises so that, your body is able to bear the games that you have to do. And sometimes the number of games in the day that you have to play are so large that unless you are really fit, your muscle strength is good, you will not be able to compete.
This is it.
So with that, thanks. A lovely family. I have 2 daughters. My elder one is married 2 years back. She's in the US. My younger one is with us. And my husband, he was in BRC and he has retired just in this September. So they have always been supporting and encouraging me. They have, I think, right from when my younger one was about 10 years old, they have always encouraged, hum ghar sambhal lenge, aap jao, khel ke aao. So I think unless we have support from our family members, it becomes very difficult to maintain this kind of your passions, especially when you have to go outdoors and play or do your marathons and walkathons. So I am very thankful to my family that they have always supported me in all these endeavors. And I would like to just end with the words of the biggest fitness influencer of India. And you will see this here.
फिट रहना उतना मुश्किल काम नहीं है जितना कुछ लोगों को लगता है। फिटनेस की डोज आधा घंटा रोज, इस मंत्र में सभी का स्वास्थ्य, सभी का सुख छिपा हुआ है।
अक्कड़ बक्कड़ बम्बे बो, दो आधा घंटा फिटनेस को। ताज़ा खबर को ताज़ी हवा में पढ़ लो। अरे पार्क नहीं तो छत पर थोड़ी वॉक ही कर लो। सब्जी हो या तरकारी हाथों में भर लो। अरे 2 मंजिल का जीना है, सीढ़ी ही चलो। अक्कड़ बक्कड़ बम्बे बो, हो, दो आधा घंटा फिटनेस को, बस आधा घंटा फिटनेस को।
फिटनेस की डोज आधा घंटा रोज।
I thought this was a very apt video. Our Modi ji, we have seen him. He himself does yoga. A lot of videos go around. And the mantra is, आधा घंटा fitness का अगर हम रोज देते हैं, so it will make you a better you and of course a better nation, which will be free of diseases, controlled diseases. So I just request all of you that have this mantra, do आधा घंटा fitness को रोज, and you will definitely see the changes. Those changes will be so positive. all negativity removed out from you, that you will feel like continuing this kind of a regimen. So thank you very much for this. I don't know whether I have been able to convey something new, because as I said, so much information is available that it's very difficult to put in something new. But I hope that I have been able to keep you motivated, that you go back and get into a fitness regimen. Thank you so much for it.
Thank you, madam. Thank you for such a wonderful presentation. I am sure that all participants will be greatly motivated about the importance of keeping ourselves fit. I would now request Professor Precious Selvin, Registrar HBNI, to present a small memento as a token of our appreciation.
Any questions, queries, comments? Not that I am so capable of answering them, but if anyone has.
Any question? Any question from online participants also? Any question from here?
Yes, madam. I would say in office you should make it mandatory to do yoga session that we should introduce.
Namaste, ma'am. Thank you for the inspirational lecture. I am from IREL Chavra, RSO of IREL Chavra, Health Physics Division.
Yeah, thank you.
Being one of the greatest sports person of DAE, your lecture was very inspirational and motivating. My doubt is only to give your take on how to save the joints. Means knee joints and things once you
Saving
regularly
the
into
joints
fitness.
requires strengthening of your muscles around the joints. That is the only way you can save the joints. And I think there is no other way of saving the joints. So as I told you that we badminton players definitely have bad knees and joints. And when you go and see the physiotherapist, the only thing they will tell you is do that strengthening knee joint strengthening exercises 100 times in a day, 1,000 times in a day. That is the only way, so that your weight does not come on the joint, but your muscles which are around the knee joints are able to take that weight. That is the only way.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Madam.
Madam, your talk was very encouraging and inspiring us. But I would say in the office now that you should make it compulsorily 30 minutes yoga, then it will work.
I think that is on an individual to take time out for yoga. I think we cannot be utilizing our time for such activities in the office.
So, activities to make it happen.
Yes, ma'am, that is a very good idea. We will make it after the office hours. Certainly.
Yeah, it's taken, sir, but you should stay back.
So if somebody is interested, they will stay back. Otherwise, you go home and do. I think we get enough time at home to take out 15 minutes if one has to do.
Any other question or comments from students?
Okay, thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, madam. And now I request Professor Selvin to give the vote of thanks. Selvin, please.
Thank our speaker, Professor Dr. B.K. Sabra, outstanding scientist, Head and Radiological Physics Division of BASC, for accepting our invitation in a very short notice and delivering an excellent, enthusiastic and highly informative, highly useful, highly practical and a motivational lecture on Fit Hai to Hai. So certainly it is highly useful for our practical life. I think he started from the motivation which I see got from parents, mentioning Dr. Anil Kakudkar as the seeing lifestyle. And she has tell many informations about how to have the preventing lifestyle diseases. And one of the things he has mentioned is adequate sleep. As exercise, it's getting adequate sleep is also equally important, and she stressed it. And having a food, adequate food. And this has mentioned one thing, each one has to listen to your own body, don't have the advices and try to implement for your bodies. And yes, mentioned really the intrinsic motivation is the most vital for fitness routine and sustainable routines. and all the things, how to have the increased energy by means of exercise, emotional well-being, and she has completed with a personal story and have a motivation to all of us. Never too late to start and stay fit for a better you and for a better nation. Thank you very much, ma'am, for highly inspirational and informative and knowledgeful informations to all for us to keep our life fit. So I thank Professor A.K. Tyagi for proposing the welcome address. I thank Professor Deepanu Datta for being the convener of this excellent program and introducing the speaker. I thank our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Kamachi Mudali, in absentia, for granting the necessary permission as per the directives of University Grants Commission. This program is being carried out. I thank all our scientific officers from DAE, BRC, and students especially, and HBNI staff members, all the faculties for their active participation. I think this is the first time we find that the entire hall is full with this much number of people. Knowing the importance of this program, thank you very much for all your presence and sharing your valuable time with us. I thank our IT team for their support. I thank who has directly involved or indirectly involved for the success of this program. Thank you. Jai Hind. Let us all raise for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे